You can skip the next couple of doors and just start heading back up here. Bypass this door, turn invisible if you want to avoid the enemies, and enter this door for the next boss battle against the Voodoo Priest. Now this battle ends up being exceptionally easy if you have the invisibility with you. Turn invisible and then just start attacking him as much as you possibly can, either mashing the button or if you want to, you can of course use a turbo button. You can hit him anywhere on his body in order to do damage to him, and you'll see that you'll quickly destroy him and complete level 3. Level 4 takes us back to New York City. We have a few new moves, and as I will change to the Fire Rain, which is very similar to the other Fireball Rain that we already have. In this level, the pretty much the most annoying hazards are definitely the wrecking balls that will fall from the ceiling, because if you touch any part of the wrecking ball itself, you will take damage. This level also introduces the military-style enemies. These enemies are a real pain, because you'll either have the bazooka ones that'll be able to hit you since they're already ducking, as well as the regular soldiers with their guns that will also be able to hit you whether you're ducking or not. Try to do your best to avoid those wrecking balls, but you're probably going to take 1 or 2 hits from them while making it through. Thankfully, you can just enter this room at the end of this area in order to get some health after defeating a couple enemies. There's a lot of rooms that we're not going to be entering in this stage since they really only contain a couple enemies and some of the health upgrades, so if you need health, you may want to stop by a few of those. But there's no hostages located in them, so we'll just continue on. Up here, however, is another one of the hostage rooms. This door, the right door, contains a hostage. This is probably the hardest part in trying to avoid those wrecking balls since it's a very short distance from where they fall from the ceiling to where they hit on the ground. Thankfully, even though I have taken a pretty decent beating throughout this level so far, I just enter this room in order to get a little bit more health. Making it up here, we're nearing the end of the stage, so be careful with your health since the boss will be coming up very shortly. Entering this room will free our last hostage of this stage. When you make it to the end, drop down the hole, watch out for the soldiers as you make your way down, and then make your way to the right. If you have the fire drop, use that right there in order to take out those enemies before falling down off the pipe. Enter the far right room in order to enter the next boss battle. This is a boss battle against 3 different robots, 2 small ones and then a larger one. Just keep attacking them, and as you'll see, you can do a lot of damage to them quickly. Using the invincibility really helps you out here. Just keep attacking as much as possible and you'll take out the first 2 really easily. The third and final one is a little bit harder to deal with because it's much bigger and moves a lot faster. However, the invincibility will once again help you out greatly, and if you can't seem to hit it sometimes, just do a jump in order to land a few attacks on it. It won't take too long before it's taken down. And now we move on to the 5th level of the game, the final stage. At this point, the boy we're trying to save, Taro, has finally been found out by the final boss of the game, Toro, in which case Toro will now hold him hostage as we'll get to that boss battle at the end of the stage. At the beginning of the stage, you enter an elevator sequence, so we kind of have this first-person perspective, kind of like your typical shooter on the NES, such as the levels from Adventures of Bayou Billy. However, you're using your projectiles of ninja stars in order to take out the enemies. Thankfully, anytime the enemy fires at you, you can throw a ninja star right at them if you time it correctly, and deflect their projectile at you to avoid any damage. When we make it to the right, we'll enter the next elevator to go up to the next floor. I don't know exactly why the elevator can only go 1 floor at a time, but I guess they want you to make sure you explored every floor in order to find the hostages if you want to check them out. Sometimes, though, the controls in this area, as you can only hold left, right, or not pressing either direction to fire straight, sometimes when an enemy will come out of the door, or when he's coming over the corner, you'll sometimes accidentally, if you time it too quickly, throw just slightly away from him. So that can be a little bit annoying, but it really doesn't affect too much. Entering this room will save the first hostage from the stage, and will be the only hostage we save in this level. On this floor, try to do your best not to take too much damage, but if you have, you can grab this bit of health by entering this room. Once you have the health, Continue moving to the right, enter the elevator to move up to the final floor. This is our final of the POV sequences where we have to throw these throwing stars at these enemies. Just take your time, and you're really just trying to avoid taking any damage as we're nearing the end of the game. On this floor, you can get the last note, which will inform you to take out El Toro. You're going to need 4 different types of moves. You're actually going to have to use different styles of your weaponry in order to take out this boss. He only takes 4 hits to kill,